Hi there, today we're going to make apple crumble, a winter favourite. And the first thing we've got to do is get our Granny Smith apples and begin to peel them. I've done 2 of them. And there's a couple of different ways you can peel an apple. This I think is the easiest way. Go around the top for a little way. Go around the bottom for a little way. And then come down this way, like this. And eventually you'll get there. Okay, we're going to cut our apple now. Cut them in half, then in quarters. And then just go in on the angle like that to take out the core. That's a quick way to take out the core, quick safe way to take out the core. And then we're going to make cubes. Cut those into 3. Come through this way. Alright, our apple is chopped now, and we're going to put it into a big pot, and then we're going to add the juice of 1 lemon, which has already been juiced for me. If you haven't got it juiced, you'll probably have one of these at home. Cut the lemon in half and squish it down on a board and squish it down and make the lemon juice. So the lemon juice goes in there, some cinnamon and some sugar. Okay, we're going to put it on medium, just halfway on the stove, and we're going to put the lid on. That's going to cook until it's softened. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to melt the butter to make the crumble. Put that over there. Just put that on halfway. Then all of the ingredients for the crumble. We've got the flour. We've got the sugar and the cinnamon again. And then we've got some oats. This is a really simple dessert to make, but it's very rewarding. Get yourself a spoon, mix that up, and then we're just going to wait for the apple to cook and the butter to melt, and then we're going to tip the butter into here to make the crumble. Here are the apples. They are just about done, I would say. Yep, they're soft, they're ready to go. Now come over here, and I've got two dishes which are ready to do. I think this is a recipe will be enough for 4, but we'll test it out. So I'm going to spray the inside just so it doesn't, the crumble doesn't stick. And now I'm going to put the apple in. Okay, now we're going to make the crumble with our butter. Pour the butter into the dry ingredients. It's making the crumble now, and we're going to pop that on the top of our apple. When you make your crumble at home for 4 people, if you make it for 4, you can change the recipe if there are more people in your family. You're going to have 4 apples. We've got 3 because we're still trying to get this recipe right. So this is quite a generous amount of crumble for each one. And then that goes into the oven on 180 degrees. Check our apple crumble now. It's been in for 15 minutes, and if you just come in close, you'll be able to see it started to brown. But don't forget, our apple crumble is quite thick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it have another 5 minutes, but I'm going to reduce the heat slightly and take it down to 160 so it doesn't burn. We're going to make our custard now, homemade custard, not custard out of the packet, but custard with real eggs in it. Now this particular custard is quite high in calories, so this would be a great dessert to have after you've had some sort of salad dinner, not a really big heavy dinner, otherwise you'll end up eating too much. So we've got half a cup of milk and half a cup of cream. You really don't have to have cream, okay? It's rather excessive to have cream, but if you've got cream you can use cream, otherwise you can use a whole cup of milk. That goes on the stove to bring up to the boil. Don't let it boil over. If milk boils, what it does is it comes up and it boils over onto your stove, which is a really bad thing because you've got a terrible mess to clean up. So we're just going to bring that up to the boil. Now, some people say that you should just use oat yolks in your custard, but I think that's a waste because inside the white of an egg is heaps of protein, which is why people serve custard to sick people who are recovering from an illness. So 2 eggs go in there, you've got your sugar in there, and mix that up. Oh, hang on, we need some vanilla. Absolutely important that we put half a teaspoon of vanilla in the custard. Whisk that all up, and while you're whisking it, add your corn flour. Now as you can see, the milk is steaming, steam is evaporating off it, but it's not actually boiling. So turn your element down to halfway now, bring your milk over to your eggs, whisk it in, and then take your pot to the sink and wash the pot out. If you miss out that step, your custard could burn on the bottom of the pot. Now place your custard back in the pot, scrape it out, put that back on the stove on a medium heat, so about halfway, and whisk it while it comes back up to the boil. Okay, we'll see if our apple crumble is ready now. I think that's browned enough, don't you? And you can see how it's gone all biscuity on top. So I think apple crumble is best served not straight out of the oven because the crumble is still soft then. Just let it cool down a little bit so that it's just warm when you serve it, because you've got your hot custard on it as well. Keep whisking the custard as it comes back up to the boil. Now you'll notice, don't let it boil too long, okay? As soon as it's come up to the boil, take it off the heat, because otherwise it can break, even if it's got corn flour in it. So that was just starting to boil, and I pulled it off the heat. Now I'm whisking the hell out of it so that it comes down in temperature a little bit, because we don't want it to break. If it breaks, I'm afraid you've just got to start again. And there we have it. Apple crumble for 4 with homemade custard. Yum!